Hey everybody, it's Audrey. It is March 1st, and today we are kicking off a blog hop with the new 2017 Clique Kits design team. So lots of talented ladies. So for today's page, I decided to go through a whole bunch of my old Clique Kits, which I keep in their packs for each kit, and I'm going to use up some of the stash. And what I do actually after a couple months is I take all these kits and I pull them all out and then put it all together back in one bag. So I put the papers together and all the embellishments together, and I kind of use it as one big kit. So I have gone through and pulled out the things I want to use to go with my photo, and I'm starting with a piece of white cardstock, and I added some gesso there as you saw, and I covered the whole thing. And on my craft mat I have just rubbed some gelatos and spritzed it with a little bit of water, and I'm kind of doing, I wanted to try to do like some dry brush strokes, but that's kind of hard to do when you have to add water to the gelatos. But it kind of makes some nice streaks because I was kind of going with the streaky look. And usually I start my pages with a plan and a little sketch or something. I had zero plan starting this page, so I'm kind of just going with it. But my thought here was I like to a lot of times kind of take some inspiration from my photo, like the theme of the photo or the place or whatever the kids are wearing in the photo, and try to base my layout design on that. Anyway, I was kind of going with kind of some streaky hair color here. So if you kind of look at the yellow paint, it kind of reminds me of hair and somebody's head actually, and the hair. And this page is about my daughter and I. We went to go get our hair cut together a couple weeks ago, and we ended up kind of with the same style, and it was kind of this style. So that's where my idea for this background came from. So I found this piece of Maggie Holmes paper. I think it's from the Gather collection, and I saw those paint strokes, and I was going to use the paper as is, but I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just cut out those colorful bits and fill in that center of that painted part. And at first I was like, yeah, I don't know if I like this, but as I get going, I really kind of get into it, and I think it looks cool at the end. So I've fussy cut out all those little paintbrush areas and stuck them down there over the paint, the center of the painted area to cover up the white spot. And for my photo, I just picked a few pattern papers and backed it. I definitely wanted to add some black and white in there, so I used some black and white text print behind my photo. And I am cutting out, I believe this is from Amy Tan, and it came in one of the previous Clique kits, and I love these kind of flower doily shapes. And I thought that the white pieces would be good to kind of break up all that color there in the background. And I cut out 3 of the doily pieces and the title Pretty there, which I actually don't end up using. So, like I said, I have gone through and I've already picked out a whole bunch of the papers, and then I also pulled out a whole bunch of the embellishments that I thought I would use as well. And one of my favorite things recently was this chipboard pack from the Gather collection. And I've used a lot of it, and there's not very much left after this page. I'm trying to kind of balance all the colors around from all those strips in the background, and then adding some embellishments again to kind of balance the colors, like I said. This part, actually the embellishing part, kind of went really quickly because I just pulled off a whole bunch of things from that chipboard, and because the background paper I was using, the paper I fussy cut from, was from the same collection, the colors really matched nicely. So I didn't really have to do too much more searching for embellishments to match, although I do spend a lot of time picking out just the right ones. So a lot of the kits come with tags and Project Life cards and flair, which you'll see in a little bit here. I have a whole bunch of flair and die cuts and stickers and all kinds of things. So I had a lot to choose from to use this page, and I kind of like doing this, combining a whole bunch of kits at the end after I haven't used them for a while. So I'm just picking out a few more things, and I'm going to kind of fast forward here a little bit because this is really just me pushing stuff around, which I tend to do a lot until I find the perfect combination of things to use. So once I got all my embellishments kind of settled, I decided that I wanted to stitch on my background, but I didn't want to take every single piece off because I kind of liked where it was. So before I took everything off, I kind of just spent a minute or two here gluing these strips together so that they would stay kind of together as a cluster, so I could just put them right back down under my photo once I was done. So I took that off. I'm going to trim this up, and then I went ahead and stitched some lines over the yellow part, and now I'm going to splatter some mist because I know I want to do that too before I put my photo and everything else back on. And I'm using Heidi Shine in teal and seafoam, and then a few little black spritzes here and there, splatters rather. Okay, so you may have noticed on the colored strips in the background there was kind of a darker blue up in the top, kind of the top right corner, and I cut it off because if you go back in the video, you'll probably notice it, because it was not the same shade of blue as some of the other pieces in there, and it was kind of, in my eye, throwing the balance of the colors off in the page, so I cut that little strip off. I'm adding my things back in now, and you'll notice the one doily on the bottom right underneath the camera, I decided instead of tucking it under the colored papers that I was going to put it on top of the colored papers just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. And the papers were kind of getting a little busy, and I wanted to tone them down. I think by adding a white element on top that did that. I also tucked that blue tag in the top of the photo, and that kind of helps balance the blue. You can kind of see the visual triangle there with the blue under the photo and behind the top of the photo and to the left of the photo with the heart. Okay, so I didn't like this word pretty as white. It wasn't standing out very well, so I thought I was going to try to match the colors with the colors behind the strips behind the photo, and the colors turn out really good. They're the same colors. They're the colors I was going for, and I'm just blending some gelatos with some water right on here. But the problem is once I put it back on, I just don't like how it looks. I mean, I think it came out really pretty, but I think that the colors were just, I wish I had done it in one solid color instead of kind of this blending of colors, because it just doesn't, I don't know, fit very well. So the peach is pretty, the blue is pretty, the blending is pretty, but it just doesn't fit there, and it kind of gets lost a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board with that. I'm just gonna fiddle around with these pieces like I always do, because a millimeter makes a big difference in my head, but probably not really on the page. I found there was a couple packages of sequins from past kits, and one of the kits had this really pretty mix of kind of a purple and like an aqua blue, and so that blue was really pretty. So I threw a few blue sequins on there. I had kept coming back to this piece of pattern paper, this kind of like leather-looking brown paper. I had originally pulled it out and was going to use it behind my photo, and then just went with the black and white. But I decided to go back and add in another piece underneath the photo because I wanted a little bit of a darker color to make the photo stand up a little bit more. I felt like it was kind of getting washed in with the background. The color of my shirt in the photo is very similar to kind of those pinks and orangey colors to the right of the photo there. So I think by adding that little bit of darker brown behind the picture kind of helped separate that from the cluster back there. Okay, so I have pulled out a whole bunch of pieces of flare too, and the colors, these are all from different kits, but it's just so funny how they all go so well together. And I put one to the left there underneath the blue heart, and I put one up on the right, but I don't end up keeping it there. I don't like it there. I think it just kind of sticks out. So I'm going to use another piece down by the camera instead. I went and added a few more black splatters because the splatters I had put on there got covered up. Okay, you can see I added some black and white strips. Now, I went back and forth adding these strips in and out, in and out. And looking at it right now on the camera, I really love how it looks, but I end up not putting them in. So I'm curious to what you all think of having the strips or not having the strips, the black and white strips. I love black and white stripe. I've actually used this same piece of pattern paper on my last few layouts. So I don't know. Maybe I should put them back in. It's easy to do. I'll have to go look at it again. But my final photo does not show those black and white strips. But anyway. I also added a few more small flowers that I cut out from that die cut paper. You can kind of make them out in the bottom right there by that unicorn flare. And then I added some more into the top left corner by that other white doily. And added some thickers and a jelly bean soup sticker that says awesome. And I like the teal color of the title of the word awesome much better than I liked the one that I painted. I think the solid color and the teal, or that aqua blue rather, really is the perfect color to use there. So now that I have everything exactly how I want it, I'm going to go back through and just glue it all down, because I haven't glued anything down yet besides the color strips in the background. I'm going to add some foam to my photo, and I kind of cut off a corner there to fit over that chipboard flower, that yellow chipboard flower I'm working with right there, because it was kind of sticking up further there. And then I just kind of lift up things and add a little dab of glue underneath, because this glue, this mixed media glue from Thermoweb, it stays on. It does not come off. It's very much like quick dry glue. It doesn't dry as quickly, but it's still a fast drying glue. And yeah, but once you stick something down with that glue, it is not coming off. So I glued down all my little bits, chipboard too. And for the little white flowers, I used some 3D foam squares, also from Thermoweb. And what else? For the flare, I use Zots, glue dots from Thermoweb as well. And these are, I don't even show you the package here, but these are actually 3D glue dots, so they have a little dimension to them, and they help pop up whatever you're gluing down a little bit higher. So it's kind of like a foam square, because it adds some depth, but it is a glue dot instead. Going to tuck this tag underneath the top and glue that down. I think that's from, is that from Bella Boulevard? I'm not really sure. And I don't do too much more. Oh, sequins. I had put those sequins on, but I hadn't stuck them down. For sequins, I don't like to use liquid glue, and I don't know if anybody else has this problem with sequins, but when I use a liquid glue with sequins and the liquid glue dries, they always pop off the page. Like if you hit them, they just kind of pop off and leave the clear glue on the page. So I use glue dots, and I think they stick better with glue dots. I was being really anal about this blue tag, and I didn't like the sharp corners on the tag, so I just took my scissors and rounded the corners a little bit, and then added some black twine and stuck it back there. Just my journaling I added, and the date up on the top behind my photo as well, and that's about it. So I love all the layers in this page, and the colors, and it's so much fun, and I was so happy to use up some stuff in my kits, and I love working with kits like this and just combining them all together and finding pieces that match. So thanks for watching. Be sure to go stop by all the other girls' blogs today for the Clique Kits new team blog hop. See you soon.